Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Philip sent me a note about a sad story out of Arizona. ABC15.com ran it. Brittany Barba wrote it. Valley Bakery closes unexpectedly after 30 years, leaving customers without refunds. Sometimes those neighborhood bakeries can be landmarks, and they've been around forever. But when one goes out of business, it's shocking. But also, people who put deposits down to buy things in the future, of course, here they're saying you might be out of money, and there's not much you can do about it. Now, it's something that's worth discussing. We'll talk about in a second. But the business posted a sign on its building telling customers there is no money available to provide refunds for outstanding orders. So just don't even go there. A Phoenix area bakery is permanently closed after 3 decades in business, leaving customers scrambling to recover money they paid for orders that will never be fulfilled. The bakery is located on 43rd Avenue and Thunderbird. They shut down unexpectedly in late September, catching longtime customers off guard. The business posted a sign on its building telling customers there's no money available to provide refunds for outstanding orders. Now, a woman who's lived in the neighborhood her entire life and was a loyal customer discovered the closure just 3 weeks after placing and paying for her wedding cake in early September. My heart dropped. I was so freaked out. I was like, what? I didn't get a call. I didn't get an email. Now she's scrambling to find another bakery to make her a cake. She said, we have no idea what to do. All these other bakeries, have these rush fees, and not many people can accommodate them so quickly. And even if they could, it's still like another $500 to spend. So that's already so unaffordable. My mom works 6 days a week. She really had to pinch up pennies to put this money aside. She works really hard, and it was just really, really disheartening because we were loyal customers. So in a statement to ABC 15, the bakery explained the closure was due to significant downturn in business that started over the summer. And here's their statement. We are heartbroken to close our doors after 30 years. This bakery has been part of the Phoenix community for a long time. We're grateful for the notes, emails, and hugs from customers this week. By our conservative estimate, we've helped celebrate more than 60,000 moments over 3 decades. Weddings, baby showers, birthdays, retirements, life celebrations. Your support has meant everything to us. Like many small businesses and more so in our industry, we see a significant summer downturn. Most years, the seasonal rebound arrives by mid-September. This year, it did not. Our September sales were down significantly from last year, and many wedding orders shifted to small cutting cakes rather than multi-tier designs. Birthday party orders have declined or gone from themed centerpiece designs to simple cupcakes. These changes have lowered the average order size dramatically. We watched the numbers closely, and as risk increased, we paused new advance orders and focused on commitments already on the books. We tried promotions and outreach, but the shortfall deepened and the business became insolvent very quickly. We know refunds matter. With our accounts exhausted, we are not able to provide refunds. Under the law, remaining assets must go to creditors first. Customer refund claims are generally unsecured and come last in priority. On counsel's advice, our hands are tied. Even if funds were available, we could not lawfully disperse them ahead of other creditor claims. We have been contacting customers with future orders. We regret deeply that not everyone could be reached in time. This has been devastating for our team of about 20 people, our family, and the community. We are thankful for the kindness so many of you have shown. We are proud of the joy we created together and grateful for every celebration we were trusted to bake for. Now, notice they say, under the law, remaining assets must go to creditors first. A deposit that you don't get back would make you a creditor. And now they talk about secured creditors. That's a little different. But the point is that they're going to have a bunch of unsecured creditors also. But the thing I'd like to point out is there have been, and I'm not saying it's here, but there have been situations where a business is teetering on the edge, about to go under, and they know it, but they still take in money, and then they go out of business. And if there's an allegation of that happening, you might be able to go to court and make that argument and say they took our money in knowing they were never going to fulfill the orders. Therefore, it was some kind of fraud. And that changes you a little bit in the eyes of the court as to what you're entitled to. But I'm not saying it happened here, but I've seen other cases where it did happen clearly, where somebody had stopped performing business for anybody, but was still taking in money just to keep things going. So tips from ABC15.com include, if you've got a issue here, file your dispute right away. Now, if you paid with a credit card or anything else, there might be a time limit for a refund claim. But you might be able to get a refund from your credit card company, okay, or reverse the charges and so on. You need to hang on to anything you have that makes sense as evidence to show that the business closed and you did not receive your order and cannot receive your order. And for future large purchases, consider using credit cards, which typically offer better consumer protection than other payment methods. So I can tell you that I personally have had a situation before where I put something on a credit card and the company went belly up. And I remember calling the credit card company and explaining it to them. And they said, how do you know the company went belly up? I said, it's in the front page of the paper today. And the woman said, can you fax me that? Because yes, this goes back to the days of faxes. And I said, yes, I can. And I faxed it to her. And then later on, I got the confirmation saying that charge has been reversed off your card. You don't owe that money anymore. And the credit card company ate it because they didn't get the money from who went, the company that went belly up. No, nobody got anything. But I wasn't on the hook for it. And I've also had a client who got ripped off really, really bad by somebody who takes credit cards. And I said, how'd you pay for that? Credit card. I'm like, no. Don't say it like that. I go, you should be happy. What? You paid with a credit card. I go, you don't owe that money. I go, guaranteed. What? And not everyone's heard that before. But credit cards often offer, as an incentive for you to use them, protection against fraudulent charges. And it actually makes sense because if you give your credit card to a merchant and they charge you money for something they never gave to you, but that merchant is using the credit card. And so they obviously have a relationship with the credit card company, which you'd think on some level means that the credit card company has done some form of vetting to allow them to take credit cards, especially their credit card. So that's something to be aware of also. But the sad part here is that somebody who's planning a wedding has so much on their plate, figuratively speaking. And they've got to do things like order a dress, book a venue, hire a DJ, flowers, all kinds of stuff, a cake. And a cake is, number one, it's simply a piece of the puzzle, right? There's so many things they got to do. Just one piece of the puzzle. But it's an important piece. You can't have a wedding without a cake. It just isn't done. And so many things that are part of the wedding are like that. You got to have a DJ. You got to have a dance floor. You got to have a dance floor where where they can play the chicken dance. Don't get me going. So I feel really bad for the people who gave this bakery money, but I also am curious about how far down the road they were looking when they realized that they could no longer provide services for people. And that's the one thing that I would be looking at if I was involved in this. Like I said, when they take money from somebody and can't deliver because they went bankrupt, quite often it is the case that you get nothing. But if a business, I'm not saying it happened here, but if a business takes in money with no intention of fulfilling the contract because they're on the verge of bankruptcy, that could become a different thing. Just be aware of that. So Philip, thanks for sending that from abc15.com. Brittany Barber wrote that. Valley Bakery closes unexpectedly after 30 years, leaving customers without refunds. And Valley is the location. It's not the name of the bakery. So there you go. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. The things you own end up owning you. It's only after you lose everything that you're free to do anything.